recent news, FHA has announced that they are now having 40-year mortgages.
Go into details on that. I don't think 40-year mortgages are good, but go into detail. I don't think they save that much either, but
we'll see. So I mean, a lot of people out there, it's kind of become it's kind of become viral. A lot of people are talking about it. However, right now it is only applying for modifications. Basically, the whole reasoning of it is if you are out there, if you are struggling to make your mortgage payment, one thing that FHA will allow you to do is to change the structure of your loan to be over 40 years instead of the 30 or whatever term you had before.
It's only saving you $150.
That's going to lower your
mortgage.
Yeah, so that would lower your payment. I mean, going from a 15 to a 30 year makes a massive difference. Going from a 30 to a 40, because it's exponential increases. So what was that?
It was something like $150 on a $300,000 mortgage. It's nothing crazy.
See, that's not much.
No.
At the end of the day, and that's what we always preach. Like,
depends on your interest rate too.
Yeah, but I mean, even talking about interest rates, like at the end of the day, your interest rate is not the number that really matters. It's the overall payment. It's what is it doing for your cash flow? Like, that is what really matters. Now, going to a 40-year, yeah, it's going to help a lot of people. I mean, at the same interest rate, I mean, why not do it? I mean, it's going to save you money per month that you can use for other investments or pay extra and actually build more equity. Like, that would help as well. So I mean, I definitely don't think it's a bad thing for that. I think it's also interesting because, and I mean, we've been talking about this has been rumored for years about, it's going to go to a 40-year mortgage at some point. It's going to go there. This is the first real step towards that by like an actual major.
Yeah,
I mean, FHA is announcing this. This isn't like a private investor. This is an actual, yeah.
So here's my thoughts on the 40-year mortgage.
Yeah.
Is it really good?
Why do you ask? Because we're putting people on with a mortgage for 40 years, or
look at how much interest they're paying on that, right? So our whole thing is, how do you build wealth through real estate? Is that helping someone build wealth? Well, maybe it helps them with their cash flow a little bit, but it's very minimal. How much more are you paying over the life of that loan, right? And the primary residence, one of the things that we preach is to try to pay off the primary residence as quick as possible. That's not doing it. The other piece is we talk about leveraging debt on investment properties.
Yeah.
Getting to 6 investment properties and then paying them off within 14 years by applying the cash flow, and the amortization speaks for itself. How is that helping people?
Because I think it all depends on what you do with the money. Because I mean, we've talked about it before, like the difference between a 15 and a 30 year,
That's
right?
A big difference,
like,
though.
It's a much bigger difference in payment. Absolutely. Like, I mean, saving $1,000 is completely different than
the interest rate's also lower on
a 15 year
than it is on a 30.
Correct. And that's why it depends on what the rate would be for a 40 year.
I was looking, the rate goes up. So it's offsetting the cost of the 10 years.
Then yeah.
Not completely, but to a point where I was looking at it, I was like, this doesn't make much sense. I mean, it makes sense if you absolutely are desperate. Like, why am I going to go and modify my mortgage to go for a 30-year to a 40-year for $100 a month? Like, I'm going to pick up a second job, do something, right?
Right.
And now, granted, I know it's a tough environment, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, it's just like, come on, man. Like, at some point, it does not, like, it's not beneficial to stay in debt longer, and it's not beneficial to pay more in interest. Now, you'll argue, okay, well, what about the gain of appreciation for keeping the home? Okay, like, I can give you that. Okay, yep, take the appreciation gain depending on what it is, but do the numbers. Does it make sense? I'm not for staying in a primary residence mortgage longer than you need to.
I mean, I agree that it's just the counter argument, but I mean, is like what you do with that extra money and cash flow each month. Is there a way that you can invest that, or can you put it down in extra payments? Can you put it in some other investment that will allow you to pay it off sooner?
Yes, agreed.
That being said, it sounds like
if you're in an FHA mortgage and you have to go from 30 to 40 years, do you think that you're doing the best thing with your cash flow?
I mean, to save like $100 with a higher interest rate, probably not.
No, but I'm asking you a serious question. If you have to modify your mortgage, because this is what it is, it's a mortgage modification to go from 30 to 40 years, that extra cash flow is not going to pay down your mortgage. Correct. That extra cash flow, I don't know what the extra cash flow is going for, but that's not a situation where a majority of clients
are going to be able to
apply extra to their mortgage. It's just not. FHA in general, a majority of clients who get into FHA, it's a great tool to home ownership. And I believe in home ownership. I believe it can be a great tool. But you have to also look at it as a majority of the client who goes FHA, they don't have the extra cash flow to pay down their mortgage.
Yeah.
I mean, am I wrong?
You're not wrong, but I mean, you also said it too, like, but you keep the house, and the appreciation is where you really...
Okay, so you better do the numbers on the projected appreciation and make sure that you're projected to appreciate at more than what it's costing you in interest. Because if not, then what the freak is the point of the appreciation?
Right.
Right? Like, so you have to look at that, and just if you're doing a mortgage modification, I don't think you're looking at that. You're looking at, how do I save my home right now? Great. If you do that, and you have to do this, and you have to go from a 30-year to a 40-year to save your home, do that. But as soon as you're able to, and you need to become able to, does that mean find a second job, go drive Uber on the side, go find a better job that pays more, do something, pay off whatever the debt or whatever is causing you not to be able to afford your 30-year mortgage that you used to be able to afford, do that, and then refinance out of that thing as quickly as you can into a shorter term. Pay less in interest. Why are you going to cost yourself a bunch of money in interest payments? It's like I'm looking at it as credit card debt to an extent, right? Except you're gaining appreciation here, so that does offset some of the debt. But if you're upping from a 30 to a 40-year, like the average age of a first-time home buyer is 33 years old. You stay in a 40-year mortgage, or it's 35 years old now. You stay in a 40-year mortgage, you're 75 when you pay it off.
That's a long, yeah.
That's a long damn time.
Well, we talked earlier about freedom, from the that's a part of it. Like, that's freedom too. Like, we were talking about having trust in the government will, like, being able to track everything you're doing. I mean, freedom also applies to being able to own your home outright, like, and being working towards that. The equity that you have is your own property that you actually outright own.
Right.
If it takes you longer to do that, that's less property you own over your life.
Right. 100%.
So, I mean, that being said, like, it can be a great tool. So, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing by any means. But you're right. I mean, do your due diligence. Like, understand what it takes and understand what your options are to prevent that. Because, I mean, before you make that decision.
Yeah, you need to look at all the numbers. You got to make sure it makes sense. Work with a great mortgage broker.
Yeah.
So, if you haven't done it yet, go ahead and bang that red subscribe button, turn on notifications. You are going to want to be following us. So bang it, turn on the notifications, and you may have an opportunity to win $1,000. Follow us on all our social media, NBI Financial Group LLC. We're on everything: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're big on YouTube. We're big on all of it, right? So go ahead, bang the red subscribe button, turn on notifications. If you want a chance to win $1,000 on September 1st, you need to be subscribed, have the notifications on, and comment on our videos, and leave your handle. The more comments, the more entries into the chance to win $1,000. We're going to give it away either in Bitcoin or U.S. currency, whatever you choose. Don't be one of those people who says, great video. Actually talk about the video. If you just say great video, I'm not entering you into the contest. So you better talk about the video.